Okay, so this part of the video is going to be a little bit weird, um, a little bit atypical compared to usual combo video formats because rather than explaining to you the details of every combo and how to do them and this and that, I'm just going to talk about starters. Uh, it'll be more combo theory than the actual list of what to do in the order in which to do it. So, I guess you could separate Shimo's combo theory into a couple of different starters. Um, Namely, I would say you have your light starters, your heavy starters, your Shinkoenzan to start, universal overhead to start, and BL counters. And I'm just going to go over the appropriate way to route off of whatever starter you hit, right? Now, when I say light starter, it's actually quite easy for Shimo because she has like one light starter and it's the 2 crouch light kick. But this is what will combo off of anything in the game, right? And you can always think of it like anything that works off a light starter, you can also do off a heavy starter. So for light starters, typically the routing you're going to want to go into is either Yugizan or Shinenzan. And that's pretty much it, right? So you could do Shinenzan, you could do Yugizan off that as well. That's the combo I mentioned in another part of the video that was pretty tricky. But yeah, that's the general idea. Those are what you get off light starters. You'll notice that even though the command dashes work, firstly, you can't get into EX Yugizan with this. And that's for a good reason. Otherwise, she'd have an infinite, I believe, if you do. But we'll talk about that later. Then, yeah, there's only really one way to get heavy knockdown off these, and it's Shinenzan. That's why it's good. You can't get Retsugizan. Obviously, it's too long. You cannot get EX Retsugizan. You can get EX Shinenzan, but why spend the meter on that? I mean, other than just to make it quicker. Oh, right. Now, for the record, I just want to say I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier. Technically, right, like, light kick is a light starter, but it's kind of like a heavy starter for the purposes of this video, right? Like, you're starting off a light normal, but really the heavy normal is what you're comboing off of, and that's how the timing goes. So, just for reference, when I get there, when I say heavy starter, you know what, I'll probably just, like, list the light starters versus the heavy starters on the screen. This way it's less confusing. Now, technically, you can go into light starters into supers. I believe you can get... Yeah, you can do light into super. You can do... let me see. I can get it. God damn it. There we go. You could do one of those. It's another way to get light starter. You can also go light starter into 1 bar, of course, right? Like you could do... that works pretty well. There is another way to... Oh, yeah, it's... Let's see if I can get this. God damn it, I can't do this. I have no clue what's going on with me right now. There we go. Yeah, I would always go into Isen Kosa if you're going to confirm into a super. Obviously, depending on the route you go, you can't always do that, but it does do more damage than the sword one. This one is just the one you get off Shinkoenzan. It has more utility, and therefore I recommend buffing that. But, I mean, they're both fine. Like, I personally don't use super on Shimo that much. Oh, I should note that, well, I'll talk about it in heavy starters. Anyway, so you could do that into super. Okay, so let's talk heavy starters real quick. Any heavy starter, and for the record, heavy starters, I would say, like, heavy kick, crouch heavy kick, any kind of jump in, right? Like target combo. These are all the heavy starters, right? You can do, firstly, of course, Yugizan or Shinenzan, but what this opens up, rather than just light starters, is Retsugizan, right? So for a meterless option, you get some really decent corner carry. You still get a solid 8k damage, 9k damage, right? But, mostly you just get that. And where the real damage comes from with Shimo, this is like a kind of a massive leap, you know. Other characters, depending on what you land first, you get like, there's more of like a solid curve to their damage outputs. With Shimo, it's like low damage, and then suddenly you spend 1 meter on you spend half a bar, and you do an insane amount of damage. And that's where this comes in, right? And off any heavy starter, you can get EX Retsugizan. And this is where your most damaging combos come in. So typically, you're going to want to do heavy starter, Retsugizan, 2 Shinko-Enzans, and then something to reset. So like this. Oops. Right. And the reset is just so, you can get a little more. You could also just do Shinenzan there. Let's see if I can get it right. Yeah, that's like another combo you're going to want to do, and that's like an actual knockdown as opposed to the air reset. But I typically go for the air reset. I think it's better almost always. A little less damage, but you'll get more damage when you open them up. All right, so that's pretty simple. Oh, one more thing, right? So off of any heavy starter, you can also do EX Yugizan. And that gets you like a real weird kind of extension. So you can do, let's see if I can time that right. So you can do cr.LK kick off of EX Yugizan. It's +6 on hit, and you will almost always be within range to do that. So you can kind of just toss that out afterwards. But yeah, that one's kind of a weird one. You're not really going to be doing that much. But, I mean, it's an option to you if you'd like to use it. So, yeah. EX Retsugizan, EX Yugizan, regular Retsugizan. Those are your heavy conversions. And, of course, the same thing as before. You could do any of these into... Whoop. You could do any of these into the light starters and get some solid damage off that. So, next, let's talk about Shinko-Enzan as a starter. Shinko-Enzan is pretty weird. So you could just go Shinko-Enzan into Super, right? And that's like a nice solid one. Oops. You could always do one of those. You can do the light kick one, but don't. In this case, what I'm doing, just because it makes things a little bit easier, you can always do run, stop, and then the stop is super cancelable. This also applies to any other combo. It doesn't just apply to Shinko-Enzan, but Shinko-Enzan is the best place to use it because that little step makes spacing the super a lot easier. This is like annoying to hit. Right, whereas this... Oops. This will be much easier. In my opinion, of course, you get this off any Shinko-Enzan. Right? I think you get it off EX. But, like, that's 1.5 bars off of... But, I mean, anything to close that around, right? What else should I discuss here? The super follow-ups. Oh, yeah, just to demonstrate the run stop. You could even do that. That one's pretty nasty. Oh, I forgot to mention one of the heavy starters. Whoops. You could do heavy kick. Heavy kick, or not heavy kick. Heavy punch is super cancelable, not special cancelable. So you can see, like, I can't go into that, but I could do buffered super off this. Jesus Christ, this button is crazy in neutral, and you should really use it to the best of your ability. I recommend doing the kick super off of it, just because at the range you're hitting this, like, yeah, you're going to want that extra distance. Okay, so back to Shinkoenzan. You could do regular Shinkoenzan into EX Yugizan, and that'll get you the same kind of reset as the EX Retsugizan resets, right? So you could do those if I'm not bad with the timing. And that kind of puts you in this mix-up situation, which I'll talk about after we finish the combo theory overall, right? So once again, it's Shinkoenzan, EX Yugizan, and then whatever you want to do to reset afterwards. What else? Okay. So next, let's talk about universal overhead. So Shimo has, I believe this is unique to her and Hina, the ability to combo off universal overhead, even on standing opponents. So you could do that, and it links into crouch light kick. Now, firstly, you can do this into a super, but I'm not that good. Maybe I am. We'll see. No, I'm not. Ooh, so close. Yeah, just a pro tip as far as doing the light punch into super goes. I recommend that you do the quarter circle forward first, then do 2 punch, 3-6 punch again, right? So it's like that. And, you know, if you can time that off universal overhead, that would be pretty... Let's see if I... Oh, so close. Yeah, really hard to do. Now, more commonly, you'll get this on crouchers, where universal overhead becomes +6, and then you get any of your light starters off of that, right? So I guess you can consider you can consider universal overhead to be a light starter in itself, right? This link is pretty tight, but of course, you know, you get any of your usual combos off of that, and it's pretty easy to confirm it's super once you get the hang of the actual link. Oops. Oh wow, I fucked that up. Anyway, that is her universal overhead starter. One more thing, I want to talk about BL counters, because those can be tricky as hell. Let's see, is there a button for it? Auto counter, parry counter, yeah. And then, let's set the dummy to jumping. So BL counters put your opponent in a pretty unique state. And they will extend the amount of time you have to combo. If you want to end the combo in the most damaging way, which I assume is true off BL counter, you typically want to go for the double Shinanzan combo. If I can do it. Oh my god, I can't. Oh my god, I swear I can. I promise this works. Oh my god. So that's the kind of combo you want to get off this, right? And it might not be the most damaging combo you do, but it'll be good enough. Getting 11k off of, you know, just a random, like, J, or J, whatever, jumping up light punch, that's pretty good for, you know, just random exchange. BL counters. You can get BL counters on the ground. I actually haven't labbed these myself. They're quite hard to react to. But let's say in this instance, you know, I get the BL counter here. This just means really that you have more time to combo. So, you know, even at a distance, the Retsugizan link becomes a lot easier, right? Whereas if I didn't have the BL counter on, this does not hit as consistently at all. Oh, whoop. I still have it on. Right, suddenly, maybe I'm just awesome. Yeah, suddenly it gets a lot harder to do, or whatever. The BL counter increases the amount of damage, increases the length of the juggle, I believe. And it gives you more time on the actual stun, so you can link it to bigger things. Oh yeah, in the case of universal overhead, you can do just target combo off it. Yeah, you're plus 13 on hit there. That's actually fantastic. Hold on. Probably get heavy kick off that. My lord. It's not even a link at that point. Is there anything else combo theory-wise? No, there's not. But I want to talk about mix-ups before we end this. So let's get to mix-ups really quickly. There's two main ones you're going to want to do, of course. That's not counting like regular strike throw. And I'll talk pressure sequences. Actually, let's talk about pressure sequences first. So as far as pressure goes, I mean, you're a chimp on this character, and that's what you're gonna want to do as far as like damage is like the constant Street Fighter like repeated pressure, right? So a lot of crouching lows up close, right? Your shimmy, your throw, whatever. That's all standard strike throw, right? What gets unique for Shimo is firstly her ability to cancel her crouch heavy punch into super jump on block and on parry. So this winds up going a long way. You can actually get you know, cross ups right after it, and they can be really hard to block. You could just do this into Shinko Enzan. I mean, like, you know, make things difficult for your opponent. So that's one way, right? This button lets you continue pressure. It's a fake reset. Wouldn't use it too much, but it's there. It's present. The next one I want to talk about as far as pressure strings go, besides, you know, we went over crouch like kick, we went over this into heavy jump, cancel, and block. I want to talk about the run stop pressure. Run stop pressure is a fantastic way to enforce strike throw, but with minimal risk and a ridiculous amount of mix. So first, you could start run stop pressure off any normal, but the ones you do to start it change your advantage, right? So this will leave me -3, right? That's if I'm close. But I imagine, of course, with distance, I'm -1 there, right? On the other hand, you know, I could start with heavy kick. This is great way to close distance. And of course, you know, the more distance you attempt to close with this, the more disadvantageous on block you're going to be, but still really useful. Now, the ones I use the most personally, I use a lot of heavy kick into run stop, which, you know, yeah, if you do it early enough, you're even plus, right? Heavy kick into run stop or target combo into run stop, and it has about the same amount of advantage and disadvantage on block. I wonder if you can get... I'm pretty sure I can get more plus off that, but it doesn't matter. That's a great way to frame trap. Shimo doesn't have a lot of options beside crouch light kick that are actually plus on block, right? Anything else is going to be minus or 0 in this case. Although sweep is plus, but yeah, not sweep, the slide. Run stop is a great way to enforce throw, because if you're close enough, you know, you're -3, your opponent has to make a guess right there. They're put into this really awkward guessing situation. And you could just continue to do it, right? I can do run stop into another button. I could do a throw. I could repeat that as much as I want to. I could do run stop into another form of pressure. I could throw afterwards, right? I get to be relentless on block. You could also do run stop into her instant overhead, which that's when you do jumping light kick and Shinko-Enzan immediately after. I haven't perfected the timing on this, and I wish I could give better advice on how to land it. Once I figure that out, I'll post like a video or something. You can get this to combo, but I have no clue how. Maybe you delay the Shinko-Enzan. Or maybe it has to do with distance. In the corner, it's a little bit easier. Oops, unless I sail over them. But yeah, you could do this immediately after run stop. Oh yeah, if you just do super jump. Yeah, that maybe that's how you're supposed to do it. And you could do, you could mix that up with different types of Shinko-Enzan, so you could do heavy Shinko-Enzan there, and change that, or you could do EX Shinko-Enzan. I mean, that one looks really hard, because you gotta either block it cross up or parry twice in the air. I mean, hard guess. Run stop pressure is insanely powerful. It's the most important part of her kit, in my opinion. And it's also the coolest. It feels really fun to just run around and, like, pest your opponent like this and start throwing out overheads. And it's what enables her to play so freely. Oh, yeah, the light kick mix-up. Okay, so you have a mix-up off of jumping light kick. I think I went over this a bit earlier, as far as, like, opening up your opponent goes. But here are the mixes you're going to want to do off this. Shinko-Enzan, heavy Shinko-Enzan, EX Shinko-Enzan, universal overhead, empty jump low, or not empty jump. You do the falling low, you do the falling overhead, you do falling throw. You could do shimmy, and you could do cross up. Right, so you have a shit ton of options, and they're all pretty strong. You also have a mix-up off of any, like, successful combos, so I'm going to do... this is mostly with Shinko-Enzan starter or heavy starters. After first hit, right? So if you do a regular starter here... now you can run, and depending on how you space this, you want to try to space this the best you can, as far as like delaying the button and getting close when you do this, right? You could do one of these. Whoops. Now, if you do normal run, you'll typically wind up in front of them and anywhere between, like, +10 to +15, usually 12 or 11, right? If you do that's if you do light run. If you do the heavy run, you'll wind up on the other side of them. You can finish this juggle with heavy kick or heavy punch, but heavy punch, in my experience, has been much more consistent. It also enables you to super jump cancel and go for maybe a cross up instead. So the correct option to do this, I would say, is heavy punch. But, I mean, you could do whatever you'd like. Oops. Anyway. Any other mix that I need to talk about? No, I believe that's it. Yeah, well, anyway, I hope this guide has been useful. Thanks for watching through all the all the videos because I'm going to have to upload this in multiple parts. And if you haven't watched all the videos, I recommend doing it unless you are maybe a more experienced Shimo player, in which case, if there's anything you think you should correct me on or anything that's worth noting, please leave that in the comment section. I'd like to learn more about the game. If you're ever interested in playing, please reach out to me, and I'd love to set something up. Thanks for watching. Bye.